this time of the year, there are a few guidelines all ghosts and goblins should follow. Always stay on sidewalks. Never go to a stranger's house. And never go out alone.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Horror Huddle. I'm Stacey-Beth. There's Ash.
Howdy.
And special guest tonight, we've got Demonika Devour. Y'all probably seen her naked somewhere or, doing something funky with her titties. Who knows? But, yeah, tonight we're going to be talking about 2007's Trick or Treat, which is like a cult fucking favorite in the community of horror folks. Directed by Michael Dougherty, who did Krampus, which I think is, what is that, coming out in November or December?
I think it's December, honestly.
I would assume it'd be December. You never know. I don't know.
I think that they're trying to rival with the whole competing. I think it actually comes out like a week before Christmas.
Okay. Hell yeah. So, yeah.
No, I think it comes out the weekend before Christmas.
Fuck it, probably. I don't know. Whatever. I'm going to watch. It's going to be great. But, yeah, so he's directing that. So everybody's going to be, like, familiar with him if you've seen Trick or Treat. And I feel like a lot of people haven't seen it, but...
Which I don't know why, because that's kind of required watching at Halloween.
Oh, it totally is. So, real quick, it's an anthology movie that centers on 4 Halloween-related stories. And everybody knows Sam, the burlap sack wearing, kid who looks like a costume, whatever. He fucking looks crazy, but I love it. Ties everything together.
Yeah,
that's the whole town. Yeah, it's all set in the same town, same night, Halloween night, of course, everything. Stars, I think, the names I know, Anna Paquin from True Blood, Suke. Brian Cox, who we said is from Super Troopers. He was the older guy. Dylan Baker, which I'm like, I don't remember what he's in. He played the principal in this movie. But I don't remember what he's been in, but I know his face. You know what I mean? And then I think we said with the fat kid from Bad Santa.
Yeah.
I didn't write his name down in my notes because I was like, oh, he's
Thurman Merman. That was his name in the movie. Thurman Merman.
Yeah. And of course, Sam is played by Quinn Lord, who, is, I guess, pretty relatively unknown except for that role. But he was just at Texas Frightmare Weekend.
Yes, he was.
So, yeah, that was cool. I didn't get to, I walked by his table. I didn't go because there was, a huge line of people. But, yeah, so there's the 4 stories, and I guess we're just going to kind of jump into it with the 4 segments. So the first one is... this woman and her husband are, they're coming home Halloween night or whatever. And the husband's obsessed with Halloween. He's, got the house all set up and decorated. She just doesn't really give a fuck less about it. And they're putting all the lights out in the house and all that decorations and shit like that. And she goes to blow out a candle in the jack-o'-lantern. And he's like, no, you can't blow out a jack-o'-lantern before midnight on Halloween because, it's just not tradition. It's bad luck, what have you. Well, the bitch does it anyways. And, husband goes inside. She's like, no, don't worry about it. I'll finish it up. And she gets murdered. And she gall murdered by, all you see is, the giant lollipop that's got, a bite taken out of it. It's, super sharp, which is fucking amazing. And I love it. And, the husband comes out, finds her tied up on one of, the scarecrows and rips off the sheet. And it's the giant lollipop shoved into her mouth. And it's, that iconic scene now from people who watch the movie that's, the giant lollipop stuck in her mouth.
Yeah, and that goes into the opening sequence of the movie, the opening credits, which I really loved. The opening credits and the end credits, that comic book feel, that graphic novel feel, the pictures, really well done. I love it.
Yeah, someone said that it originally was. I was on a forum yesterday, and someone was saying that it actually is a graphic novel. And I found that kind of hard to believe, and people were calling him a liar.
I think it became one after the movie.
Okay, I
gotta pick it up.
Was done after the movie
because there's so many shows and movies that are based on graphic novels nowadays that you don't know which one came before.
If I'm not mistaken, I think the graphic novel came out after. I could be wrong, so viewers, if I'm wrong, let us know. But don't be a dick about it. Just say you're wrong. You're wrong, bitch.
There was a few things I liked. I liked that he's all kind of bummed down. She's like, just go put on the movie, and I'm like, dude, it has to be a horror movie. It has to be a horror movie. No, it's a nudie flick.
Of course, yeah.
And what does he do? He's in there, and you don't see him doing it, but he's like, nah. And then what happens? Just like every other guy, once he shoots his load, falls right asleep.
Jesus Christ.
I think the movie was called Good Nature because I was like, oh, he's going to watch a documentary. And I was like, nope, that's not what he's watching.
That should be your next porn title.
Good Nature. It's like whenever I tell locals in town, like, good spots to go off-roading, I'm like, in my head, I'm just like, I've masturbated there. But, you know, as long as you don't go to that corner, you're fine.
Watch out for that sweat stain right there. That's me.
Careful with that whole area.
There, you might slip, so watch out. Yeah, like, it's just so funny. I'm like, okay, it's the whole, like, of course they obviously had to set it up to where she's going to get murdered. But I'm like, he's the Halloween-obsessed husband. You would think he'd be like, no. I cannot trust you, bitch, to not blow out this jack-o'-lantern, get your fucking ass inside, and I'm going to do everything myself. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, that's what you get. Like, you don't.
I give props for the decorations, though. Those were awesome. If I could have that in my front yard, I would definitely be down. But for someone that doesn't give a shit about Halloween, like they sure did. Like she sure did have. You know, she was okay with having her house set up like crazy.
I do like that segment does introduce one of the main rules of the movie, the whole jack-o'-lantern protecting you from the evil outside.
Yeah, that was kind of that's the whole thing. That's the tradition, you know what I mean? And so, I don't know. It definitely, it's the lesser of the segments. But that's how most are in anthologies. That's the introductory one. And it's got to not be because you can't put the intense great ones in the beginning because that just kind of deflates the rest of the film, you know? So yeah, we're just going to go into the second one. The second segment is a high school principal who's played by Dylan Baker. He spots the Bad Santa fat kid, I guess, stealing candy and kind of just being a general shithead.
He's knocking down pumpkins as he's walking down.
So he's just generally being a shithead.
Yeah.
And so that he takes him in and he's like, come sit down with me. Like, I'm going to lecture you on stealing and here's a candy bar. You know what I mean? And starts like telling him about like Halloween tradition and all that bullshit or whatever the hell he's doing. And you find out the kid's just fucking munching away and you find out that the candy is poisoned because all of a sudden he starts fucking vomiting violently blood and chocolate and just thinking about it, I'm like all nauseous.
Yeah, and it's even
just thinking about
vomit. It's like just non-stop. It's a good 10 seconds he's doing this, and I'm like, okay.
I know, like that's why I didn't want to watch it today. That's why I didn't want to watch it today because I was like, holy shit, like I'm gonna fucking get sick.
I was calming down some food when I saw that, and I was just like, well, I already ate chocolate.
It's so intense, and it's so fucking disgusting. So then the kid dies, and you know he takes the kid in. And, oh, by the way, guys, spoilers. Whoops. Anyways, so he takes the kid's body in and to the back to bury him, and I guess that's when you kind of see the intermingling of what's going to become other segments, right? As he's out there, and it's kind of almost like comedic in the way that it's happening. And he sees this crotchety old neighbor, like, just being a dick, and then I guess sees him.
It was the dog was barking. The dog was crazy. He's like, shut up.
Yeah.
That kid, man.
And then that's when he sees the neighbor screaming, right? Like, from the window, kind of like, right?
First, there's the son.
The son says, you got to help me with the eyes.
Right, I'm trying to bury a body here. Can you go back inside, son? Like, and then I think the most twisted part is when the kid starts moving in the hole, and so he takes like the shovel and he's just sitting there hitting him with his foot in his shovel, and then he just blocks off that finger, man.
Yeah, and that's when the neighbor comes out and he hears them rumble over there. He's like, "Who's that over there?" He's like, "Oh, it's just me." And he's like, "Tell your kid to keep off my damn lawn."
Yeah.
I was like, your kid wasn't even.
He's like, okay, happy Halloween. He's like, fuck you.
That's so good.
It was just such a weird. I think that's when it starts taking its turn for. You weren't expecting anything like this to happen. Like the friendly principal who's like, you know what, little kid, like we're gonna discuss, your behavior. Then all of a sudden it's like, you know what, I already have this hole buried or this hole dug. Like, let's just go for
this. Another fucking body in, and like,
yeah. I'm wondering how far down does this go? As I was laughing at the character taking the finger.
Well, if you look closely, after he buries him, he puts a little tree, a little sapling in there, and he waters it, and he's walking back in. You see multiple little trees kind of at various sizes of growth, and you're like, He's been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
I totally missed that twice now. I did not see that.
So in that is the segment, though, that when he sees the neighbor yelling from the window, though, correct?
Yeah. He goes
Okay,
back
cool. Okay,
inside.
so I'm not wrong then. So yeah. So I know
You just skip some of the funnier parts like that.
I know. I was getting to the part with the boy, like with his son and stuff, but it's like the neighbor, like kind of like from the window, and he's like,
sees him go, woo, woo.
yeah, and that's it, and whatever. He goes inside, and the son walks in, and you're like, no, the son's gonna find out, he's gonna kill the son, or no, the fucking son is in on it too. And it's.
They do leave that segment, like when he's in the kitchen, the kid's like, "Oh, I want to do this. Let's go downstairs." And
let's carve
he grabs the knife, puts it behind his back, and you're like, "Oh,
he's gonna kill his son." Yeah, it's like he wants to carve the jack-o'-lantern, and it's like, "Oh my god, he's gonna fucking kill his son." Holy fuck! It's the fucking fat kid's head, right?
Well, but as you noticed, when they were going downstairs in the basement to do it, up on the wall were masks, Halloween masks. And it's like, that's his trophy collection. That's all the victims. Yeah.
And it's kind of great because it's like the kid was like, oh, I need you to help me with the eyes, or don't forget the eyes, or some shit like that. And it's just like, it's so good.
And at that moment, it had that weird Dexter feeling. It's They're just.
Oh, and then it's fucked. It sucks. Or not sucks, but it's fucked up because it's like this really fucked up story. You know what I mean? It's like this crazy killer, like, principal that is just like, oh my god, his son's in on it, he's fucking killing all these kids. But then again, like I said, it's almost got those comedic elements to that segment that you're just like,
just the body coming, but like the body trying to fight and stuff, like, and you're like,
and he's just like, take
it out, fine, everything's cool, get out, and then you have the bastard child just screaming, Dad, when are we gonna carve the pumpkin?
Yeah.
Keep your voice down. Keep your voice down. He just keeps screaming it. And then as soon as he grabbed the knife, I was like, well, you can kill him because obviously he's not going to help you out in this story at all.
Yeah, he's a little asshole.
And the wife was never mentioned, which makes me wonder if she was one of the original that was killed.
Yeah.
Because,
maybe he wanted a prodigy and she gave him a son and he was like, okay, bitch, time to go.
Who knows? I mean, shit, maybe we'll find that out in the Trick or Treat 2, movie. So, you never know. Maybe they'll revisit that. But, that was definitely probably one of my favorite segments.
That's
so far, but minus the whole like vomiting part that just fucks me up. That's a little too much. But
gross.
Third segment, I know Ash wants to talk about.
Yes, because that's my favorite segment of the movie, and it basically revolves around. I think it's a group of 4 trick-or-treaters to start out with. It's like the little fat kid dressed as a pirate, but then there's one in braces that I can't remember what she was.
I think she was an alien.
Yeah, an alien. That was it. Yeah, the alien head on top. And then the kind of preppy, snooty girl dressed as an angel, and then the kind of younger, cute boy, which is the kind of the hunk of the group.
Like the nice hunk.
Nice hunk. And they're like, okay, we got the pumpkins. We need 8. I think it was 8, wasn't it?
It was 8. Yeah, 1 for every child.
Yeah. And they're like, okay, we need to go pick up this other girl. And you get to this other girl's house, and it has pumpkins all over the place. And they are so well done. I mean, there's like probably 50 or 60 on her front lawn. All of them just...
And I'm like, that is a fucking fire hazard.
Yeah.
I was just wondering how much money that
What does the HOA think of this?
Yeah. And you find out that the girl that's coming out, she is a autistic savant.
I would go with autistic.
She's a savant, yeah.
She's a savant. And, good costume, and she's down with all the lore and the rules. And they're like, oh, yeah, we want you to come with us. And then they get the hunk boy to kind of hit on her, be nice to her, to get her to come with them. So they decide to go out to this quarry. And that's where you hear the story of why they need the pumpkins. Because I guess it was in the 50s, 60s?
It was 30 years prior. So in the 70s.
Yeah, okay. Basically, what happens is the town had a problem. They had autistic children, mentally retarded children, and the parents were ashamed of them. So they said, we're going to have them go to school far away. But it got to a point where they did not want them anymore. So they pretty much paid the bus driver to drive off of the main route to the quarry And basically, as they're chained up, it was really weird seeing
It's
that.
so
like,
fucked up, yeah.
Yeah.
Checking the chains and giving him candy. I was like, man.
Because you know what's going to happen. He's going to drive that right off the end. But it wasn't him. It was actually one of the kids that got loose because he's like, I need to go home. Pulls off, gets behind
He
him,
realized he was not going where he was supposed to, you know?
drives it off the edge into the quarry, into the water, and they say, and
Well, because they got up and they managed to get the bus driver stuck in the bus. He wasn't supposed to stay in the bus with them. He got stuck in the bus and ended up going down.
And one of the kids asked what happened to the bus driver, and they're like, they never found him. But you see clips from back then of him getting out of the water, side of his face scratched up.
Yeah, and it was the whole like, well, and they say that the bus went so far down it could never be found. They say, or some people say that the parents didn't want it to be found, you know. So like,
it was just such a messed up segment because you're like, sadly, you could think of that happening in the 70s because they didn't have the drugs that they have now or the programs and shit like that. So you just imagine that this is probably like
that was also the 60s and 70s were also the time when the insane asylums were really big and they were just shipping everybody off there for fucking everything down to, you know, homosexuality. You know what I mean? So,
oh yeah,
heaven forbid you have a mentally challenged child, you know, you're fucked.
So basically all the kids decide to go down to see if they can find the bus. Now, they decide, oh, I'm sorry, it won't fit all of us, it only fits 3. So little fat pirate kid and the autistic girl, you stay behind while we go down first. They go down, and they're like, we'll send the elevator back up. Well, they do. As the two are going down to meet their friends, you see the pumpkins, and you hear screaming. It's like, oh, my God, what's that? Oh, and then you see one pumpkin disappear. And then it's like, oh, God, oh, no, they took her, oh. And another one disappears, and then the third one disappears. And by that time, little fat kid is flipping the fuck out. He's like, oh, shit. And the autistic girl's like, I will go check. You stay here.
Best actor in the movie was that pirate.
Yeah. She goes out, she sees the bus, and it is creepy as hell. Yeah. It's like half submerged in mud and swamp, and you see like all the costumes the kids are wearing just strewn about. She goes up, something grabs her foot, it looks like a zombie. And then she sees more, and she starts running, screaming. They chase after her, finds out it's the kids fucking with her.
As shithead kids are wont to do, you know.
Yeah. I felt so bad too.
Just to mess with the mentally handicapped kid.
Yeah.
And honestly, the boy with the skeleton mask, the supposed hunk of the group, he actually does kind of start caring. He's like, dude, stop. Dude,
yeah, like you're scaring her. That's enough.
She starts crying against him, and he's like, okay, y'all, get all the stuff. We're leaving. And of course, the brat girl with the wings is like, whatever. They go back down. Guess what's sitting there right next to the edge of the water? A pumpkin lit up. And what does she do? She kicks it in the water.
That little shit.
And then they start hearing weird moaning. Yes, it's the kids from the accident come back.
It's true. Yeah.
You know? And guess what happens? They start running back to the elevator. Guess who's in the elevator? It's Savant. And they're like, get the key, let us in. And she's like, gets the key. She goes and hits the button to go up and leaves them behind screaming. Yeah, literally it was.
And the kids are left to be dismembered and who knows.
Yeah, and you hear like, bones crunching. And as she gets to the top, she has her pumpkin. She goes out, she sees Sam. She puts the pumpkin in the cart and leaves as Sam walks around her.
One thing that really made me wonder, though, if those kids come after, since it was like the special kids came after like the human kids, does that make them part of the group now? Or are they just dead?
No, they're dead.
Yeah, see, but I was wondering, like, it was like that part like didn't confuse me, but it made me think, like, I wonder if Trick or Treat 2, they're going to come back and be like part of the group is whoever they sacrifice.
That's thinking if they even revisit those stories. They just might make it.
Yeah, I honestly hope they don't, because
I think it ended perfectly. Just because, like, me personally, I wouldn't do what those kids did. Like, there's tons of crazy jacked up shit in my town where they're like, oh, come do this on this certain day. And I'm like, there's a restaurant in town I refuse to eat at because 2 cooks have killed themselves in the kitchen. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, there's something fucked up in this restaurant. I was kind of tripping, though, that it was after she broke her glass, or the glasses got broken, that she was still able to make it all the way home. And it kind of makes you wonder, like, I don't know, I was that whole part just like, it was like the best story.
Yeah, it depends on how bad her eyesight is. Like with me, when I take off my glasses, I can see. I just can't read stuff on signs from far away.
Yeah.
I thought it was the best segment, but it also confused me because I had so many what ifs stuck in my head that I was like, man, if this was just a movie, just this segment, I would watch the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Like spread it out and make it a full like slasher film and
Oh yeah. Where it just came after the kids individually, you know,
like show the home life of the mentally challenged children and then, you know, all this crazy.
Especially the deal going on with the parents and the bus driver, like how they went about that and stuff like that.
The home life of the savant child. Yeah. You know what I mean? Get it all together. Yeah.
And that's why I like that segment the most, because that one had the most backstory to it. It had the most kind of substance to it, just because it had that whole backstory, the buzz. And that's why I love it the best. Which now it brings me into one of my least favorite, because Anna Paquin, I don't like her. I don't like Suki.
Ash pulled the short straw and had to announce this segment. So
yeah, okay. Basically, the fourth segment, is werewolf related. Okay, it's about 4 girls, I think it is, trying to get one girl laid, supposedly, for the first time.
Yeah. So what you know is that she's 22 years old. She's a virgin. That's all you know.
Yeah, virgin.
Yeah.
So basically, they're trying to hook her up, and they had this party kegger going out in the middle of the woods, and she's supposed to find her man. And she's like, no, I haven't found the right one yet. So she's she's slowly making her way out there, and someone starts following her. And you find out it's a vampire. Because in a previous, early in the movie, where it kind of intermixes the scenes, you see this guy attacking another woman, the vampire things and everything. He attacks her. And
the woman is dead. The other woman dies from this attack. Yeah.
But he attacks Anna Paquin's character, and then at the party you see the Red Riding Hood, which she was dressed up as, the cape, fall from the trees right in the middle of the party, and they're like, they pull it back, and it's him. And then it's her walking out of the woods fine. You're like, oh shit, something's not right here. And you find out,
And it's just such a cool scene, because it's like the transformation scenes, you know? And
well, hold on. They pull off his mask, and guess who it is? The principal from the second segment.
Yeah. And you're like, holy shit, so he's just a straight up serial killer.
And they pull off the fangs. He was just playing a role, and you're like, oh shit.
And so that just made them go, oh.
And that's when you hear Sweet Dreams by Marilyn Manson, and that's where they all start transforming into werewolves, pulling off skin, just like ripping it off.
Werewolves,
it looks so painful.
Yeah, but it's such a cool transformation scene for everybody, and you just see it, and I'm like, oh my god, that's fucking scary. I would not want to be stuck in that fucking woods
and
not be a werewolf, you know?
And of course, they all howl. Now, if you go back to the previous segment, when it's just the fat pirate kid and what's her name waiting for the elevator, what do they hear? Howling, and she's like, werewolf. It was like, yeah, see, she knows her shit.
Yeah, she knows her shit. She knows her shit. Yeah. And so, and then you find out that, like, she's a virgin. She was a virgin to killing someone.
Yeah.
It was a little fucked up when they said she was the runt of the litter, which kind of got my mind wandering, where I was like, oh, maybe she's a werewolf, because they just said it.
You're like, how many 20-something-year-olds, like the runt of the litter? Like, nobody says that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, she's a fucking weak bitch. Like,
I definitely was excited, though, to finally see, you know, Anna being, you know, from watching True Blood, and Suki. I was finally stoked to kind of picture in my head her being with Alice Seed, like he had turned her or something like that. Like, I was like, oh, yay. And
yeah, but remember, if you turned her in True Blood, she would have turned into a dog, not a werewolf.
True, but you know what? Let me have my hope here. Like, that's the only part that made that segment, like, amazing for me, is I was getting back into, like, I read the books for, like, the Sookie Stackhouse Southern novel. So I was hoping for that, like, scenario of amazingness, but I was really surprised because when they showed the fat guy, I was like, wait, really? You're so desperate for your sister to lose your virginity, you're going to have her fuck the dude in the fucking adult diaper play costume? Like, what the fuck is wrong with your family?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you see, like, the hot dog man that we had discussed earlier before we got online, where he was actually at the sex party, fucking what, a pig, I think?
Yeah.
The three kids from the third segment are going door to door, and they get to a house, which is, I guess, I can't remember who she was to them. She was like maybe a teacher or something.
Yeah, it was another teacher.
Cool,
yeah.
Dressed as like a sexy kitty, and they're like,
Tail.
and then they see behind her, they're like, and you don't see what's really going on. It shows a really like extreme close up and blurry, but it looks like a furry kind of scurrying, kind of, it's like people in furry outfits having sex. And it was just weird. And then one of the fat kids like, dude, I think I just saw what's his face dressed as a hot dog fucking a pig. and that actually you see his dead body at the party in the kegger in the woods with all the werewolves. And
you see the kitty teacher is one of the werewolves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of amazing.
Yeah, I love how they kind of, even though they're kind of separate segments, they always put just a little bit of stuff in from previous other ones.
Yeah, and everybody in each segment, you could actually, if you pay attention, someone from another segment is actually in the background of each one.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of cool. And then we hit the wraparound, and that's when we are taken to the neighbor that we see, the old crotchety shitty neighbor from the second segment.
Yeah, with the dog.
Played by Brian Cox. We see him, and it just, we're going to just kind of go through that one quick, because that's kind of like a great one that's like, you got to watch if you haven't yet. You know what I mean? And so he's just kind of a dickhead. He's always like turning away the trick-or-treaters, he's trying to scare them away and stuff, and then goes into, he gets attacked by Sam. And it's this big, great fight scene, and, he's just kicking his ass. Sam,
And he goes to the window screaming to his neighbors like, hey!
And then you see, yep, and that's what you see from the second segment, but you're inside this time, and just kicks his ass. And at one point, the neighbor pulls off, I think his name's Krieg, pulls off Sam's burlap sack, and it's this fucking amazing, like, half human pumpkin jack-o'-lantern.
I didn't expect it.
Which is so fucking cool, you know what I mean? And I think at one point, doesn't he chop off his fingers or his hand, or he does something?
No, he shoots him in the head, makes him fly against the door.
But he does something with his hand.
Well, he shoots him 2 more times with his shotgun, which one of them blows off.
Yeah. So it's this whole thing, and you're like, this fucking dude's gonna die. Like, he's gonna get fucked, and that's gonna be it. And Sam takes a bite out of his, the signature lollipop, and he's about to stab this dude. And I guess the chocolate bars that the old man had that he was kind of, I guess, taking from people or whatever, that like the kids would drop their candy bags when he'd scare them. So he'd pull in their bags. He's like, yeah, this is my fucking candy. So he got the chocolate bar.
Let's talk about the candy bar.
Yeah. So he bites a candy bar, and he's like, this tastes like shit. And it's the candy bar, the poison candy bar from the second segment. But
Yeah.
spits it out, so of course he doesn't die from it. But you're like, oh shit. So he stabs the guy, but he pulls it back, and it's got a fucking
It's the candy bar.
And he's like, oh, thanks. And leaves the house. And the old man gets to live, because by tradition, you have to give them candy when they come to your door. So he didn't willingly, but he gave him candy, and that's all he needed, and he left. And then, later on, the trick-or-treaters come to his door, and he opens it. He's all bandaged up and beat up and shit, gives them candy, like, fuck this shit, and gives them candy, and realizes that it's the kids. It's the dead kids, right?
Well, yeah, he opens the door. Well, before that happens, though, he sees Sam right at the side of the street, and he looks at Sam. Sam looks at him, and then you see the couple from the first segment walking down the road.
Yeah.
The same dialogue, and then Sam.
So you're like, so the people in the first segment hadn't even died yet while he was getting his ass beat. So then, anyways, he sees at his doorstep, it's the kids from the bus, and then you realize Krieg was the bus driver from the third segment, and you're like, it all fucking
Yeah, and then it goes to the same, like the opening credits, the end credits. It goes straight into that same thing. Comic book showing like him getting attacked and ripped apart by these ghouls.
For hating Halloween so much, his dog had a sick costume.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck who you are. I'm like, dude, if I saw that when I was those little trick-or-treaters age, I would have been like, hell no. I would have ran. And especially, I didn't notice at first that he was wearing like a full body piece. Like he had like the little like thing. And I'm like, that is so glorious for an angry, crotchety old man and shit like that to create something like that where he's like, get the fuck off my lawn, but I want your candy.
Yeah.
So like, I'm going to scare you bad enough to drop it.
Yeah.
One thing I can't remember from the movie, and I don't know if you guys did, the dog, does he die? Spoiler alerts here.
Yeah, I think he does.
I don't remember. I remember him coming.
I remember it was upstairs.
No, I think the dog died.
Yeah, I'm almost sure it did because don't you remember? He goes to the front door. He's like, here's something. He looks at here's something upstairs. Here's the dog, and he hears the dog yelping, and then he goes upstairs to check it out. And then
that's when you see the hand underneath the bed, but you don't see a carcass. You don't see blood.
So I guess it was just an unspoken thing.
Yeah, it's like a weird. I think overall, like, well, the first time that I saw the movie, I was so drunk I didn't remember it. That's why I had to watch it again because I was like, what? And to me, I went into it just expecting a regular horror movie, nothing too absolutely crazy out there, and then for it to just be like, what? Like,
do you see why though this movie like such a huge like has a cult following?
Oh yeah, because it's not like the third segment with the children is that the hunky dude and the little cheerleader are so stereotypical because they always have, it's the hunky dude who's like, don't pick on her anymore, shelter. And then you have the girl who's always angry because she's like, oh, that should be my man. And you always have the kid who has the braces, like the two like little kick
the two tag-alongs,
the forgettable characters.
Yeah, the one's always really small. The the little weakling of the group, which is
he's like a funny one. Like,
yeah, and then you go through all the different scenarios, and it's like it has its stereotypes, but then they like M. Night Shyamalan on you and just fucking turn that shit around. Like, well, I didn't see that shit coming. What the fuck? But it had its creepy moments with like the bus was just mega weird. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that one was definitely the spookiest one. Everything else was like, ooh, that's gross. Oh, I see the irony in that. Oh, I see that. Okay, I get it. I get the message. I get what they're trying to say. This one was just like, God, this is fucking creepy. Like,
yeah, it just, I don't know, it tripped me out because it was, I don't know, like I said, it was a great segment. If they turn that into a movie just alone, I think that would just be a fucking awesome movie. It shows more of it.
Shit, I mean, even if the second one was turned into a movie, because there's so much of the principal's backstory that we don't fucking know.
Yeah, and then at the end where his kid, like the end of the movie where his kid's sitting there dressed just like his father and shit with the blood on him and the tie, handing out candy, and I'm like, that is a future serial killer.
And at this point, that's because his dad's already dead.
Oh yeah, his dad's already dead.
Yeah, because by the point
so it's like, wait, why are you home alone? And your dad went off to go like murder women and go to a party and do whatever, and you just
because the kid asked ooh, that was crazy. The kid asked him, "Can I go to the carnival with you?" And he's like, "No, the carnival's for adults only. You stay home." And I was kind of like, okay, like, is it going to be one of those weird New Orleans things where you're expecting people with titties to be flopping out everywhere, just woo? And then I'm like, okay, it's not totally that, but I did not expect that actor to look that good as his costume. And then you take off the mask and you're like, wow, image ruined.
Yeah.
Like, you were attractive before you pulled off your mask there, buddy. Like, no wonder why you don't get that.
I think it just every segment was placed perfectly. I think it just totally was perfectly rounded out by that ending segment. I think it all, like the wraparound, I think it all just was like.
Yeah, because it keyed up on, I think every single segment, it definitely showed like the kid sitting on the steps. You saw the girl with the pumpkin in the wagon, the savant, go across the street, almost get hit by a car with all the werewolf girls like partying, whoa, yeah. And you're like, okay, it just kind of hits.
It's like they just had their fill of dead men, Yeah. So
I think it tied in perfectly. And I don't know if this is a far stretch to say, but I think think that back in like what, the 80s, early 90s is when we had so many great fucking horror movies popping. I might be wrong on my timeline here because I'm always
right.
But we had all the originals that were coming out to scare the fuck out of us. And we went through such a slump. And a slump. And a slump.
And the slump really hit when Scream came out.
Oh, yeah. Scream just fucked up so much shit because, you know, now you can buy that costume for like $5 and everyone's like, it's still a really great movie. And it's like,
no, the movie's good, but...
The movie was good, but it did introduce that whole teen horror genre, which really just kept on going.
The real, like, meta bullshit.
Oh, yeah. And then once they introduced, you know, that it's not a scary movie thing, I think that took horror to such a complete travesty that, like, you have a movie like Trick or Treat where it brings out the best in Halloween, what we're told to be scared of. Keep the pumpkin lit. You know, like, that was a tradition in my family.
Yeah.
Keep that damn sucker lit.
Keep it lit and get kids candy.
Yeah, it was definitely... It's definitely, like, probably one of my favorites of the anthologies. You know what I mean? It's such a... I mean, and then, hell, they just last year came out with the vinyl.
I need to get that one.
Which I had to get, and it's fucking awesome because one of the sides on one of the vinyls is the sound effects or the sound vinyl. So all it does is play the sound effects.
Here, pull up the vinyl because I think isn't on one of the sides of the vinyl you actually see Sam's face.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that one you have to show just the face how well.
Yeah. So one of them is the sound effects. So one of the tracks is literally the sound of the kid puking. And that's all you hear. I'm like, yeah. So one of them is
that's Mask.
This, and then you flip it over, and it's
it's just such great detail.
Yes, and if anybody's wondering, Waxwork Records did this. So if anybody wants to go find it, this I don't know if this one, the picture discs are out still, but there should be some other cool variants. So
I'm sure you can find them. Just you're gonna have to go on eBay.
For me, did anyone think that was Pumpkinhead's son?
Oh my god,
I did. I thought of like that. Kind of reminds me of it.
But I was like, I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but I written down in my notes that the budget was $12 million, and it only made a $6.8 million box office in domestic video sales because it was never really released wide in theaters. Yeah, $6.8 million.
That's it? I mean, I get it. Horror is not a big seller.
If you think about it, though, as much as this is a huge movie in our horror community, we're still a small group of people.
Very true.
Worldwide, and a lot of people still haven't seen that.
But they should, because that is the making of a cult.
Yes, and everybody watching, if y'all haven't seen it, go watch it. It's not on Netflix. I don't know if it's on demand or on Hulu or anything, and if it's not, go fucking buy the DVD from me.
It's like $5 at Walmart.
It's fucking worth it, and it will literally become your Halloween tradition. Yeah. It will.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of mine.
White Girls and Latte.
There is another movie coming out this month. I think it's the 27th. Tales of Halloween, which looks like it's going to follow a lot of the same format. It's Halloween themed. I've seen the trailer. It looks really good. If you can go see it in the theater, support horror movies.
Yeah, I might be getting a screener for it soon. I think so. But yeah.
Lucky.
Maybe. Who knows? I don't know.
I would say the same thing. Just everyone go watch it. Now that I watched it slightly sober and I got to experience everything in the movie, it's definitely like how white girls have their pumpkin spice lattes and their hocus pocus to the horror community's, I don't know, whiskey or like whiskey and trick or treat.
Yeah, a beer, trick or treat, whatever, you know.
Yeah, you gotta fucking. It's definitely. It was a mind fuck. It was like a Halloween M. Night Shyamalan, but better.
Yeah,
it's not M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, definitely go watch it if you haven't, and amazing. I don't know what else to say about it. Like, I think it's a great one. Holy shit, dude, we're already at 40 minutes right now in our video. Oops. Holy crap.
Well, it's a good movie. It was worth talking.
The longest fucking video we've ever done. I've never done a video before. And who would have imagined for one movie we managed to hit 40 minutes?
Well, yeah, because it's amazing. And plus, I don't know how to shut the fuck up.
Well, no, I mean, it was so much that we had to fucking talk about it. It was kind of great. But yeah, I think we're just going to go ahead and cut it off at 40 minutes, though. So thanks for watching, and hopefully Dee brought us some new viewers.
Watch their shit, buy my porn.
Yeah, right. Here you go. You can find Dee on Facebook at Demonika Devour. I'll put the links.
Yeah, Facebook.com/DemonikaD or Twitter.com/Demonika Devour or Clips for Sale /42044. Get your meat on.
Blaze it, or right, is that what the kids say? But yeah, I'll post up links for your stuff, and follow me. Instagram, Stacey-Beth with 2 H's, Twitter, the Stacey-Beth, Ash, you can find him at wherever you can find him.
He has to accept you because he's too cool.
He's a little bit of a pro.
So if you're cool, he might accept you.
But yeah, whatever. I'll put links up for all of our stuff. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see y'all next time.
Take care.